Right then, let's see what's what. All these cameras. Oh, the evolution of the motovlog. Here we go.
RevelatorAlf.
Hello, welcome to RevelatorAlf. I thought I'd just give you a quick rundown of the evolution of the motovlog. Look, we're kind of back in the day. We all probably started with mobile phones. Well, actually, even before then, God, look at this, is wobbling all over the place. We'll actually start with a big handy cam, and that was actually duct taped to the bike. Then I had little remote cameras. Then started with some phones. Then we had some big bullet cameras, which the quality was really poor. And then start getting into these action cams as well. And well, I've got to say, some of the early ones were pretty awful. This Red 5 here, you see the quality was rubbish. Got onto this drift, this HD camera here, and actually that was really good. Then I get into the GoPros, GoPro 4. I'm shooting on the GoPro 7. That's a GoPro 8 over there. But the big problem is actually having them mounted on the bike. Now these later ones have got stabilization, but the early ones didn't, so your cameras, so your video will be all over the place. You see, problems with phones, they haven't really got great stabilization, so if you want to hold them up like this or put them to the bike, they're wobbling all over the place. Not really that great. The older cameras, again, stabilization was an issue, but the quality, whilst they might be HD, still wasn't that great. But now then you're getting into the GoPro 7, then also you get into the GoPro 8, and you can really see a big difference. And this mount really isn't working for me today. Look at that, look at how wobbly it is. Oh, crikey. I think I better take that out of there. So over the years, the equipment that motovloggers use, that we use, has changed, has evolved. The way in which we use it has changed, and also the number of cameras probably that we use. These cameras now for me are all defunct. I'll never use a phone to do any filming anymore. Actually, oh, I forgot about another one camera. Hold on, I forgot about this one. Look, see if I can get this working. Right. Turn it on. There we go. Get the lens on. How you suffered for your art. Just going to use a very simple auto settings. There we go. Right, beautiful. Right, that's recording. So basically what you do, right down the road, you got your cameras. Now back in the day, say also what you do, just use one of these DSLR cameras, hold it up, and well, hopefully get a decent shot. Woohoo, look at that. It was actually hard to ride and change gears at the same time and film at the same time. Now, of course, over the years, the general quality of the cameras and the capability of the cameras has vastly improved. But sometimes you think, right, okay, I'm just going to use one type of camera for one angle and another type of camera for another angle, even if they're of the same era. It doesn't always work out to be a really good idea, and I'll tell you why. Let's say the drift here. I was really impressed in the day with its versatility, especially for motorcycling use, and also the picture quality was always really on point, and also the batteries seem to last a long time as well. Really great, much better than the GoPros in terms of that capability. But when you compare the quality of the finished video compared to the GoPros, it was always off. There was always a mismatch. I wouldn't say the quality was necessarily worse, it was just hard to match up. So let's say if you're you've got multiple GoPros and then you're using a drift or any other camera, it's very hard to get a really decent consistency throughout your video unless you're specifically trying to go for a difference in shots, different angles to create a different vibe on a particular few seconds of the video. Now you could say exactly the same about different generations of camera, or even from the same make. Let's say GoPro, you could choose GoPro 3, something like that, or 4 with GoPro 8 or 9 or whatever, and it would be exactly the same. And usually it comes down to the tech that they've got on board, different sensors, different quality of sensors, so there's always going to be an issue. So the best thing to do, if you can ever do this, try and get the same camera at least the same make, then try and get the same camera, and that will make it a lot easier to match up the video afterwards, so you get some kind of consistency. If you can get exactly the same camera, that'd be even great. I actually had a second GoPro 7, but I had to send it back because it was just not working properly. The problem was that because I wanted to send it back, they didn't have a replacement. I said, well, that's no good to me. I need another GoPro 7. And so all I could get was another GoPro 8. And strangely enough, and I said this on my Instagram a couple of weeks ago, actually GoPro themselves are offering a special deal. I don't know if it's still going. You might want to check it out. But they were offering the GoPro 8 for a vastly discounted rate if you signed up for their annual subscription, that is. And it was about 70 or 80 pounds cheaper than what you could have got off Amazon. So, you know, it was well worth the investment, really. Now, that was with the GoPro 8, and it also had a 32 gig memory card as well. So, you know, quite a few pennies saved there. If I'm looking for consistency, then especially when I'm motovlogging, I'm really looking for the same kind of video. I can set it up exactly the same way, same color standards, same resolution, same frames per second, all that kind of stuff. So it's easier to match up, and it actually makes it look a lot better when it's more matched up in video editing later. Now, using action cams for motovlogging is obviously the way to go, especially now with the stabilization. But let's say you don't want to mount it to the bike, then actually just mount it to your person on your helmet, and you'll get natural stabilization. With the 7s and the 8s and the 9 GoPros, yeah, the stabilization is so much better now, so you're going to get a crystal clear image as you're riding along. So that's probably the best way to go. You can have one of the cameras looking at you, and I sometimes do that as well. So I flick between a forward shot and a shot of myself as well. So having the same camera or the same brand of camera really helps with the consistency in a shot, especially with motovlogging. The problem with these cameras, the action cameras, they're only really good in, well, most of them are only really good in daylight conditions. As soon as you start getting in the dark or at night, their capability significantly reduces. And a lot of that is down to the modifications that you can actually do on the camera at the same time. They've basically got a fixed wide aperture on these cameras, so basically they're just fixed. Okay, they only let a certain amount of light in, so you can change the sensitivity by the ISO rating, or you can change your shutter speed on a lot of these cameras, how quickly that light is let through. But essentially it's just a one-shot deal, really. So when it comes to low light conditions, they're really quite difficult to modify to get a decent shot, especially when you want to do internal studio work, let's say. Well, there we go. That's the evolution of the motovlog, I suppose. You use an older type of cameras, big and bulky things, and you're using your phones. Then you get into the action cams and the different quality as it's changed over the years, different capability, and the stabilization that has improved dramatically. But really, we kind of tend to use these, you know, YouTubers who do a lot of motovlogging tend to only stick with the action cams these days, and most of my videos are actually filmed on the GoPro now. But actually for doing in-studio work, let's say talking to the camera, talking about different gadgets, let's say, then they're okay. But I'm actually looking for a different camera now, specifically and only to be used indoors. I think when you're on the move, you can't beat an action cam, you can't beat a GoPro, let's say. They're great vlogging cameras as well. I know different people have different thoughts about that, but for me, a GoPro sort of 7, 8 and 9 now, they're probably overall the best vlogging camera that you can, you know, point and shoot, ready to go, just, you know, talking to the camera and away you go. So, you know, there are lots of variations in terms of mics, audios, that kind of thing. But in terms of the actual video quality, yeah, it's that's the way to go, really, I would say. But indoors, yeah, and this is something now that you're probably going to see on my channel, a bit of a change in the coming months. and the kind of equipment that I'll be using within my workshop, within my studio, as it were. If you check out my Instagram, I regularly post photos there and the kind of things that I'm doing to affect the audio, the picture quality, the lighting and everything like that. So go check that out. Right, anyway, that's it. That's the evolution of motovlogging to the present day. How we started back in the day with big and bulky cameras, making do, getting little clips wherever we could, and then trying to get on the quality bandwagon and just ride that wave until we get in something that's halfway decent. And let's not forget, unlike what I've done today, the very best quality that you're going to get is on a bright sunny day when it's dry, completely dry, and you're going to get the best quality of light, a picture coming through the lens. So always try and do that. Never film on a rubbish day like today, which I've just done. Marvellous. Right, hope you found that useful. Like, share, subscribe, all that kind of good stuff. Oh, thanks for pulling out in front of me. And I'll catch you again. Ta-da.